Hiya. I guess we'll just start with some introductions of who we are. So my name is Matt. I am the Artist Support and Project Manager at the Fringe Society. Who are you, Kirsty?
I'm Kirsty. I am the Artist Development Manager at the Fringe Society.
So I'm going to start by not being able to work the thing. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Cool. So I'm going to assume you don't know what the Fringe is, because maybe some of you don't. But the Fringe is a festival that happens in Edinburgh in August. And I think the main thing to understand about the Fringe and how it works is it is an open access festival. And what that means is it's not got a single kind of curating body that manages the festival and decides what can and can't be a Fringe show. So all the venues are independent, all the shows are independent. And that's partly why it's such a huge festival. And we work for an organization called the Fringe Society, and we exist to kind of support the festival happening, but we don't like manage it, we don't police what can and can't be a Fringe show. We kind of have, I guess, like three main aims as an organization. One is to support the audiences that come to the Fringe. We do that through helping with box office and ticketing, and through making kind of a program and listings on our website. We also, this kind of the second kind of aim of ours as an organization is to kind of promote and advocate for the festival as a whole. And we can do that in a way that those individual independent venue operators maybe wouldn't be able to, because they have their own programs and their own specific focuses. And then our kind of third focus, and the one that I think is maybe the most important one, is supporting the artists and all the people that make the festival happen. And I guess, you know, we're obviously here at a music conference, music showcase. So I wanted to chat very quickly about music at the Fringe. And I think historically people maybe haven't considered the Fringe to be a place for music, but actually there's quite a rich history of really cool music that's happened in August during the festivals. And the Fringe has hosted loads of interesting and great music programs over the years. You know, recently, obviously, there was Nothing Ever Happens Here at Summer Hall, which kind of had a really amazing, program of music happening during August. But there's also been festivals like Tea on the Fringe and other programs over the years. So it does happen, and I guess one kind of side point to this quick presentation is, if you ever want to put on a music event at the festival, do kind of chat to us about it. We can help you do that and talk you through the best approach to doing it. One thing that the Fringe is, and one of the great things about the Fringe, is it's a massive kind of arts marketplace. So people from all around the world come to the festival to connect with artists for various purposes. That might be to collaborate in the future, to book them for a festival or for a venue. There's a huge kind of base of industry that come to the Fringe. And so one of the things that we do and that we support as the Fringe Society is a showcase called Made in Scotland. And I'm going to hand over to Kirsty, who is going to talk a wee bit about the general Made in Scotland showcase.
Thank you. So, yeah, Made in Scotland is a showcase that happens every year, and it exists to support Scottish artists and companies in bringing work and platforming it at the Fringe. The purpose of the showcase is to support these artists in sort of accessing those international opportunities that the Fringe presents. As Matt said, I think last year we had just under 1,400 industry professionals come from across the world who are here in Edinburgh looking to book work and, tour it across the world. So the showcase is really there to help support these artists in accessing these delegates and these international opportunities. The showcase started in 2009, and since then it's supported 273 shows. Another strand of this is we've got the Onward Touring Fund. So that is to support any Fringe artist. So you don't have to have been part of the showcase, but that supports any Fringe artist to take advantage of international offers that have come from an international promoter seeing their work at the Fringe. So that fund opens usually around October time, and then it's open until the money goes, essentially. The Onward Touring Fund has supported over 100 productions, toured to over 40 countries across the world. So yeah, this showcase is for sort of theatre, dance and music work, and we work closely with our partners to help create networking opportunities. We run a sort of focus week during the Fringe for the participants and the delegates, and it's all focused around getting those international bookings and life for the show beyond the Fringe. And this year, we have a new and exciting strand, which we are piloting, which is the Made in Scotland gigs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think one, I guess, quick thing to, to say as well about the financial side is if you're looking for Creative Scotland support to come to the Fringe, then Made in Scotland is the way through, is your way to get that support. So that's just something to be aware of. So yeah, basically kind of in terms of the music side of the Made in Scotland showcase, I think over the years we've been conscious that some kind of contemporary genres haven't been as strongly represented as they maybe might be, and we haven't had as much engagement from some kind of communities of artists that we maybe wanted. And that's not to say that we haven't hosted loads of really great music as part of Made in Scotland, because we certainly have. I was at a Made in Scotland alumni show the other week, and it was outstanding. But if you're a band or you are an emerging artist, putting on a full Fringe show maybe isn't as much of an approachable thing, and it isn't as kind of easy to do as it is for others that have more of a background, and so you don't have as much of a platform at the Fringe through Made in Scotland that maybe would be good. So this year we are doing a new strand of the showcase called Made in Scotland Gigs. It's being presented by Wide Days. You all know who Wide Days are, obviously, because you are here right now. And basically, it's going to be 2 showcase nights. They'll be similar to the showcase evenings that you'll potentially be going to tonight and last night and tomorrow. And there'll be 4 artists on each night. The applications for it haven't opened yet. We're looking to open those at the end of this month. We're kind of working on the application process currently, and we'll be kind of circulating the details of that through the Wide Days mailing list and through the kind of Fringe channels as well. It's a kind of paid opportunity, so you would be paid both for the actual performance, but also that payment is also to cover your rehearsal and your rehearsal times and the other costs that you might have in kind of preparing for the performance. And yeah, we're also hoping to bring in a decent kind of industry presence to those events. I mean, just as the Made in Scotland kind of showcase as a whole is looking to showcase great, art to the industry that is gathered to the Fringe, we're looking to do that through this new strand as well. And yeah, I guess, the only other thing to say is the kind of artists we're looking for. The application form is going to be very similar to the Wide Days showcase application form for any artists that have already gone through that process. That's what we're kind of modeling it on. So we'll try and keep it pretty minimal and pretty accessible. But anything you can do to kind of demonstrate how this opportunity would be a really valuable one for you for the point in your career that you're at, that's the kind of best way to approach that process. And that's kind of the end of our little 15 minutes. I don't know, we maybe kind of rushed through it quite quickly. I'm going to be around if you have any kind of really specific questions, but certainly if anyone has any questions just now, please fire them at me and Kirsty.
I believe we've got a floating mic if anyone does want to ask any questions.
It can also be about the Fringe more generally, if you have any questions about, how the festival works, how you might participate, or music facts about the Fringe.
This is your guy if you want music facts about the Fringe.
Kanye West once performed at the Fringe.
Did he actually?
He did.
When?
Yeah. He was at Corn Exchange years ago.
No way. God. we made his career.
One of my favourite facts about music at the Fringe, so I'm a big fan of The Fall. They're one of my favourite bands. And there's a song by The Fall called Edinburgh Man, and Marky Smith sings, "Keep me away from the festivals." Well, The Fall performed at the Fringe multiple times. So that's an example I use about people having this perception of the Fringe being not for music, but actually the reality is loads of people saw The Fall at the Fringe, even though he had that line there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are you looking for any specific genres, or is it anything?
It's kind of essentially anything. So in the same way that kind of Wide Days isn't specifically genre focused. Yeah, I mean, like, absolutely. I think it's kind of more about this as a platform for you to connect with industry and where you're at in your career and how you can represent that. That's the kind of more of the focus than a specific genre. I imagine with the actual nights themselves, we might do a wee bit of matching up. So certain artists aren't really incongruous with others on that program, but yeah, there's no kind of genre strictness. Yeah.
What's the venue? What's the venue for the two performances?
La Belle and Gel.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, like, kind of what level of, like, you're looking at for the artists or bands to get involved? Would it be like just starting out emerging, or similar to kind of Wide Days application where they wanted a kind of, gigs and audience and stuff already building?
I think we'd more be looking at the latter. I think obviously we'll be bringing industry to the event, and if you're really at the beginning of starting your career in music and you don't have a background that might encourage that industry to engage with you, then you might not be so successful. But I think certainly if you can really evidence what value you'd get from this opportunity with that kind of industry presence in mind and just generally, then certainly apply. We're not going to kind of have really strict eligibility criteria that will prevent people kind of putting themselves forward for the opportunity. So yeah, absolutely.
I suppose it's with that, because it's with Made in Scotland, it is about that next step, and part of it is how we can help you find those next steps and facilitate it, but yeah, it's sort of all looking beyond the Fringe.
I think like the Made in Scotland showcase as a whole will probably, will appeal to a slightly more like advanced person in terms of career stage than this. So this is kind of maybe slightly more an opportunity for someone who's a little bit earlier on in their career and maybe not looking at doing like a full run of performances or they're not looking to individually sell out a really big venue during August and can use this as a platform to kind of get access to the festival.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries.
It'll probably be quite competitive if there's only like 8 slots. Imagine you probably get a lot of applications. Are there any kind of similar programs or things that artists in the Fringe apply to like this that give a similar platform? Yeah, so I mean, I think like this is kind of this is a pilot year, and this is like the first time this has been done. So I mean, it's pretty unique within the festival as a kind of showcasing opportunity specifically. But there's still like loads of opportunities to perform at the Fringe as a musician, and I think more so than people perhaps realize. That there's plenty of, I mean, there's lots of slots at various venues around the place that have music throughout the day. That the free festivals have stages where they program music in specific venues. So, for example, like the Cowshed on Cowgate, that will, in the past anyway, that's had a day of music most days. So it's really feasible for you to get a slot somewhere like that. We also list specific performance opportunities on our website, so I can kind of link you to where that resource is. Generally speaking, those are for kind of fringe artists who might be looking to promote their show, but there's plenty of opportunities that are on there that would be kind of appropriate for a wider category of performer. Good, thank you.
Nice.
Any other questions?
Well, thanks everybody.
Thanks.